At 2:07 a.m., when silence owned the world and even the street dogs had stopped barking, Daniel's phone vibrated against a wooden bedside table. He blinked into the dark, disoriented, his mind still trying to climb out of the fog of sleep. Unknown number. He should have ignored it. He had work in 4 hours, school lunch to pack for his son, and bills waiting like hungry wolves on the kitchen counter. But something, instinct maybe fate, made him swipe right. Please. A fragile voice trembled through the speaker. Don't hang up. I need someone. Welcome back to my channel, HOA Tales. If you're new here, please don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. Now, let's dive into the story. It was a wrong number. It had to be. But Daniel's heart, trained by years of single fatherhood and nights spent calming a crying child, didn't let him disconnect. Someone was scared, someone alone, and he knew that feeling too well. He slid into his boots, pulled on his denim jacket, and kissed his sleeping son on the forehead before asking their elderly neighbor, Mrs. Rivers, to listen for him just in case. The night air was cold, sharp, unforgiving. Yet something about that call felt like a door opening into a place he didn't know he was meant to walk. The location she sent him led to iron gates taller than any building Daniel had ever been inside. Beyond them stretched a mansion washed in moonlight, every window glowing like a quiet secret. He hesitated, placing his thumb over the intercom button. What was a mechanic like him doing here? Before he could pull away, the same weak voice came through, softer now, like it was relieved. You came. The gates opened with a slow metallic sigh, and Daniel stepped into wealth that felt like a dream he had no right to enter. But all dreams begin strangely, and sometimes painfully. Inside, on a marble staircase, sat the girl who had called. She was young, maybe late 20s, hair spilling in dark waves across her shoulders. She wore a deep-neck red silk dress, elegant even in its crumpled state. Tear smudges stained her cheeks like bruised rose petals, and her eyes, haunted, exhausted, looked at him as though he was the last flicker of light in a collapsing world. I dialed a number I used to call my parents, she whispered. But they're gone. I must have pressed something wrong. And then you answered. Her name was Elena Ashford, heiress to a fortune most people only saw in magazines. But beneath the glamour was a girl who sat alone in a house big enough to swallow her whole, a girl who hadn't felt comfort since the night she lost her family in a plane crash. Daniel didn't ask why she needed help. He didn't question why destiny had routed a stranger's pain into his hands. He simply sat beside her on the steps, wrapped his jacket around her trembling shoulders, and let her speak into the empty hours. He didn't try to fix her sorrow. He just stayed, steady as a lighthouse. Sometimes staying is the most powerful thing a person can do. Dawn poured slowly through towering stained glass windows. Elena finally slept, peaceful, fragile. Daniel left quietly, leaving only his number beside the blanket that now held her like a promise. She called again, not in panic, just in loneliness. Some days she came to Daniel's workshop, trading diamonds and pearls for engine oil and the scent of gasoline. Tommy, Daniel's little boy, loved her instantly, tugging her hand, asking if princesses always laugh like she did. Elena laughed for the first time in months. She even knelt beside Tommy to hand him tools he didn't need, her red dress dusted with grease. The contrast was poetic, royalty kneeling the dirt, finding joy there. But love never blooms without storms. Elena's trustees whispered behind closed doors. How inappropriate. She's embarrassing the family name. A mechanic? He's after her inheritance. Friends she once trusted sneered when they saw her holding Tommy's hand at the park, running barefoot through grass like a girl who had finally escaped her gilded cage. And Daniel, who lived paycheck to paycheck, wondered if he was stealing a world she belonged to. One night, he made a decision his heart hated. He walked away, outside her gates. Rain soaked through his clothes while guilt stabbed him with every step. He told himself she deserved someone polished, someone wealthy, someone whole. He was a man who still slept on one side of the bed out of memory, who still kept his late wife's picture on the wall, because letting go felt like betrayal. But then, Elena, she came running down the driveway, barefoot in a red dress, rain clinging to her like liquid diamonds. She stopped inches from him, breathing like someone who had sprinted to save her life. Don't leave me too, she cried. Everyone else has. Her voice broke like glass, and Daniel realized something simple and undeniable. She didn't need wealth. She needed someone who stayed, someone who listened, someone who returned the call. He took her hand. Love didn't transform overnight. There were arguments, doubts, long nights where grief resurfaced like a tide neither could control. But there was also laughter. Tommy's tiny shoes echoing in mansion halls once silent enough to make a girl feel dead while living. There were pancakes burned on expensive stoves. Grease stains Elena wore like diamonds. Bedtime stories told on stairs where she once cried alone. Slowly, broken pieces didn't vanish. They aligned. 1 year later. To the exact minute of the first call, Daniel and Elena sat on the same marble steps where fate introduced them. Tommy slept inside, curled against Elena's lap coat. She leaned her head on Daniel's shoulder, eyes glimmering, not with tears, but gratitude. "Strange, isn't it?" she whispered. "A wrong number brought you to me." Daniel smiled, kissed her forehead gently. "No," he said. "It was the right call. We just didn't know it yet." And that night, beneath soft golden lights and a sky full of quiet blessings, a single dad who almost let a phone ring unanswered found not just love, but a home, a family, and forever that waited patiently in red silk at the end of one unexpected call. I hope you liked the story. For more intriguing stories, please subscribe our channel and also click on bell button.